Please welcome U.S. Representative Scott Franklin of Florida's 15th District. Thanks for coming on the show, Congressman.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Congressman, can you tell us why it's important for Congress to pass your bill that prevents abortion organizations from profiting off of the sale of fetal remains?
Well, this actually was something that was banned by law back in the early 90s, but unfortunately there was a loophole in that bill and has subsequently been exploited as we've determined. This is a bill that's been brought up before in previous Congresses. It's also been discussed in the Senate, but it's just not anything that we've finally gotten over the goal line. And we were looking at it as a staff and wondering why that was the case. So we reintroduced the bill, and we're hoping we can get it the attention it deserves in this Congress. If not, we will continue to push it in the next Congress.
And can you describe more specifically how these abortion providers exploit this loophole?
So, the sale for profit of fetal tissue is supposed to be illegal per prior law. But what's happened is these abortion providers have discovered that there's some loopholes in there that allow them to charge for handling fees, transportation, processing, disease screening, other different types of mechanisms that they can put very vague pricing onto, and there's no guidelines around that. And we've seen examples where groups like Planned Parenthood they're profiting very significantly off of this. And as an example from a study that Senator Chuck Grassley had conducted several years ago, there was an example of Planned Parenthood selling a 20-week old aborted fetus to an outside company for $60, and then this company turning around and parsing out the fetus grotesquely and then making a profit over $2,400. And they do it under the guise of transportation fees, handling costs, and that sort of thing. And this is happening on scale, and it's allowing these companies to circumvent the law.
20 weeks, that's almost more than halfway through the pregnancy.
Correct, yeah. It's a pretty sickening report if you read what they've done to these fetuses.
And so it appears that the law prevents them from profiting off these, but this bill that you're proposing is more of an enforcement proposal?
Yes, it is. Yeah, the law already prohibits it, but this is going to make the language very specific and clear that none of those fees that they've been charging and associating with what they're calling legitimate expenses can be charged. There'll be no mechanism whatsoever to make a profit off the sale of fetuses.
And how would a potential Supreme Court decision to overturn Roe v. Wade play into this?
Well, that's going to change the landscape significantly, and it's going to push a lot of this back to the states. And that's going to be interesting to see on a state-by-state basis how they choose to proceed with it. But in any case, whether a state has an outright ban or they allow abortions to any extent by federal law, there'd be no opportunity for profit if there are fetuses out there.
Congressman, Democrats control both chambers. What do you think the fate of your bill is going to be, and how are the midterm elections going to play into this?
Well, especially considering now we're about to head into June, we've got elections coming up in just a few months. I don't see this getting the light of day on the House floor. But it's really more than just a messaging bill. This is a bill that's been introduced, as I've mentioned previously, and has never gone anywhere. So we're patient. Just as it's taken us 50 years to fight against Roe, we'll continue to fight this issue. And if we can do it in this Congress, we will. If not, you can be certain that we'll be bringing it back up again in January.
U.S. Representative Scott Franklin of Florida, thank you so much for your update on this.
Thank you.